Hey, thank you for joining me today. This is Influence, and I have a little throwback, flashback, uh, older Masterpiece Transformer. This was my first Fans Toys pickup.
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
I think this was one of their older masterpieces. So you can see, I don't have my turntable. You see, I'm not in my normal position. Yeah, you can see here, it looks like Reflector. I love the bots. Like, I'll probably not replace them. This is when they were more, I guess, real world and not as tuned. I would like to see not necessarily them do this again, but I just wonder what it would look like in the more tuned aesthetic. Like if I would like it better or worse. Some bots I like better, some bots I like worse. Looks like a big giant camera. But yeah, you had this, came off. They all turned into guns. These were more of his traditional gun, and they're identical. 3 of those. I'm not sure if there's any other accessories that I'm missing. I know the knives were in here. One's in here. Yeah, it's still in here. This one is probably a tighter one that stays. So they had the knives that were in here. Let's see if I can get it back. Yeah, there we go. This one's a little tighter. There's some in here with holsters. I will show that. It kind of combines. I do like how they put all the accessories in. So this broke up into 3s and combined with this turned into guns. Then you had this thing that you could take and put on one of the guys' backs. It didn't stay really well, but I put some stuff in there so it stayed better. You have this, and take this apart, and these are the things that I was talking about with the knives. One of my knives are gone. I don't know where it is. It fell out because, as you can see, it's super loose. It was always loose, and no knife. Then you can push this back and stick these in here like that, and it becomes a little gun, kind of a gun. This was pretty great what they did, especially for the time. Let me take this out if I can get it. This was super tight, and I may need to, there we go. So broke that apart. Then you have the 3 bots. I did a review on this back in the day, but it sucked. It was probably one of my first reviews, close to one of my first reviews. So it like I said, it sucked. So let's just transform this real quick. This was always a pain because you had to slide this. You had to flip this and slide this up. And of course, that's what it often did. Often popped off. So this was terrible. This was a terrible mechanism. Now I gotta find that thing. Just get it up, hold it there. And here's the final position like this. So yeah, that was a terrible mechanism. Probably the worst part of this. Then you can slide that back. You can kind of pull the legs out a little bit to lift this up because there's a notch there that goes into there. A lot of people didn't realize that. These pieces right here slid down to like kind of cover up the hole that's in this bottom part. You can just slide that back up. I thought it was a lot of smart things here. You can pull that out. These are loose, so it wasn't tight. It wasn't like it was loose just from playing with it all the time. You pull this out, pull this out, pull this down. I'm not really going to do the tutorial type. I'm just going to try to show it. Pull that out, and this goes back here like that. Move that, move these arms out. They're tabbed in inside. Move them out. Pull this head up. Turn this head around. This flap. You know what? Before I do that, let me pull these skirts up. Then we can move these up like that. Then push this up here. And I can move this down here. Move this down and around. Move this down and around. And this goes up there like that. Put down these skirts. Put this down. More body. Then you can flip this around like this, like around like this, and move this in here like, and that goes in there. And stretch. Move this back, that back, and that folds down on his back, and this folds down here. I don't know what. And you move these up, back up like that. These are on screws, and they were super flimsy. Pull the feet out. Pull the feet out. Arms down. Spin it. Down. That's hard and isn't great. Knowing how old these guys are, I probably should be more careful. This was always hard too, to get the hands out. When you went backwards, you always had to have the fingers pointed so you can kind of like grab them. There's one. And then we're going to do the middle bot. Even though, I mean, it's pretty much the same, but there's a little bit different that you got to do here. So again, I'll move this up here like this. You can move this back, or just, you can keep it like that. Then you want to move this back a little bit, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get this head back up off of this right here in order to get these down here. And this is the main part that's different. You just put that down like that, move this around, and then move it down, and it stays on his back like that. And it was cool about these guns is the tab here, they tabbed in because they didn't really go in his hands as well. So we just give him these two. Then we're going to do this. And there he is. And I'll take back what I said about it being super loose. There's only a few parts that's super loose. Like, to tell you the truth, this guy is actually held up. And I've fooled with this figure a lot. Here it is. I'll just go over articulation. It was well articulated because you had the knees. Wasn't really double jointed, but it had that little extra joint you could use. You had the toes down, the rocker all the way. And this could be kind of why people are critical of fanstoys these days, because of the articulation they're lacking, because they remember this. Not saying this was the only one, but there was a lot of figures in the beginning that were very well articulated. And I think that comes from, you got all of that, you got that, you got the head down and up, side to side, ball joint action. You don't have a waist. During this time, I don't even think a waist bend was really on any figure. Any Transformer, I'm not sure. I could be just lying, but you had waist swivel, of course. Legs went all the way up, skirts all the way on each individual, except for this one in the back, but you can move it if you needed to get the leg all the way back. Yeah, though, it was great. I love this figure, and I always did. I like representation. It's enough of the G1 cartoon for me, but also it's not a you know, just straight one of one representation. Now, some figures I like. Again, you always hear me say that. I like some one-on-one figures, like some configurations of figures. I don't know. I don't know until I get them in hand. Some figures I'm like, oh, I hate why it looks so tune accurate. But then when I get it in hand, I'm like, oh, well, this is looking good. I like it. So I never really know what I like, but I do like this. I am wondering if they would do a more tune accurate version. But then again, it wouldn't have this type of character. Like all this stuff would be gone if it was super tune accurate. Actually, I think this is repo labels. To tell you the truth, I forgot this right here. And that's on there to make them look. Yeah, that is repo labels. So it would look more tune accurate if I didn't have the repo labels on. But that's to make it look more accurate in the camera mode. I forgot all about that. I was thinking it was just this sticker. Man, see what happens when you don't mess with figures for a long time? But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to do a quick review, I guess. It's not really a review because I just talking about the figure and transforming it and show you a little bit of it. Yeah, there's still my reflector representation. All right, so thanks for watching. If you're watching,
life ain't no. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want it.